You're listening to Hot Topics on Good Mix Radio, hosted by Mike Melody and Sheila Harmony. And each week, they dive into the top trends, pop culture moments, and viral stories dominating the web. They unpack the chaos with humor, sharp takes, and insights you won't find anywhere else.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to really get into what captivated America back in early July 2025. We'll be using Google Trends, which is, well, just a fantastic tool for tapping into that digital pulse. Our goal here is to pull out the key insights, give you a real snapshot of the culture, the concerns, what was buzzing around then. Think of it like a shortcut to understanding that moment in time.
Exactly. And Google Trends is so powerful for that. It's much more than just a popularity list. It actually analyzes all this data, finds patterns, and really captures those cultural moments. By seeing what searches spike around big events, it gives you incredible insight into what people are interested in, what they're worried about, really helps understand the context.
All right, let's unpack that digital landscape then, July 2025. Looking at the overview, it was definitely a mixed bag. The big search trends, well, you had Independence Day celebrations, huge deal. Then the really serious Texas flood crisis. Diddy's trial was ongoing, lots of attention there. The new Marvel Rivals video game got people talking. And of course, Drake dropped his album, What Did I Miss?
Yeah, and what's really interesting is how different all those things seem, right? You've got like national celebrations next to a natural disaster, celebrity trials next to gaming and music. But together, they actually paint a pretty clear picture of American life right then. What people cared about, worried about, were entertained by.
Okay, let's start with the biggest one, Independence Day. It was #1 by far. We saw just massive celebrations across the country, record-breaking stuff, grand parades, amazing fireworks displays, patriotic ceremonies everywhere. Think about the big cities, D.C., New York, L.A., huge events. The National Mall in D.C. alone, an estimated million people. And social media just lit up. Hashtag Independence Day, hashtag 4th of July. Trending constantly. But it wasn't all just fireworks and parades, was it?
No, not entirely. And that's where it gets complex and kind of insightful, actually. Because even this big national holiday, something usually unifying, it also reflected some real societal tensions. Alongside the celebrations, there were political controversies, protests, even counter-protests in some places.
Yeah.
It showed some deep divisions, really. And social media amplified all of it, the good and the bad. It turned the holiday into this focal point for public discussion, which definitely helped push it to the top of the search trends. It shows how even national moments aren't simple. The digital reflection is always nuanced.
Yeah, a real mix. And speaking of a shift in mood, the nation's attention also turned to something far more somber. The Texas flood crisis, just unprecedented. We're talking record rainfall, areas completely shut down, widespread destruction. The stats are pretty grim. Over 10,000 homes flooded, estimated $100 million in property damage, and about 50,000 people displaced. Just staggering numbers. And I'm sure you remember seeing stories like that family rescued from their attic. That went viral, really brought the human cost home.
The response was huge, of course. Local, state, federal agencies all coordinating. Rescue missions, getting people food, water, shelter, medical help. A massive effort. And, it really makes you think about how these digital conversations reflect our vulnerabilities, but also our efforts to respond and adapt. Because this disaster immediately reignited the whole discussion around climate change. Experts were pointing to, the increasing frequency, the intensity of these extreme weather events, and stressing that urgent need for adaptation, for building more resilience.
Okay, let's shift gears again, this time to the entertainment world. Diddy's trial. That sent some serious shockwaves. The allegations were serious misconduct, associations with other high-profile figures. It kept everyone, public and industry alike, kind of on edge. Every new piece of evidence, every testimony from the courtroom, it made headlines, really kept people searching, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. What's fascinating there is how a legal case becomes this huge cultural moment. It sort of pulls back the curtain on bigger conversations, doesn't it? About power, accountability, especially in the entertainment industry. You saw celebrities reacting all over the map, some defending him, others using it to talk about systemic issues. And the business side, companies started distancing themselves pretty quickly. Why did it go so viral? Well, Diddy's obviously a huge star. The allegations were shocking, and it felt like it might expose deeper industry problems. Plus, let's be honest, there's always a public fascination with celebrity culture and seeing accountability play out.
Right. Now, for something completely different, but also lighting up the search trends, Marvel Rivals, the new game. It basically landed and became an instant sensation in the gaming world. The initial buzz was overwhelmingly positive. People loved the gameplay, the graphics looked great. It just seemed to nail that mix of iconic Marvel characters and really solid competitive action. What made it stand out? Well, the blend of strategy and action, the huge character roster, customization, dynamic maps, co-op modes. It had a lot going for it. So why did it grab everyone's attention so fast?
Well, the reviews were strong. Critics liked how faithful it was to the Marvel feel, but also how engaging the multiplayer was. They struck a good balance, you know? Complex enough for hardcore players, but accessible for newcomers. That's key. And the competitive scene jumped on it immediately. Top players, esports teams, they were already running tournaments. Features like rank matches helped. If you look at the bigger picture, it really shows that power of combining a beloved IP Marvel, in this case, with genuinely innovative gameplay. Plus, the developers were really active, listening to feedback. That helps build a loyal community fast.
Makes sense. Okay, finally, let's talk music. Drake's album, What Did I Miss? Calling it an industry earthquake isn't much of an exaggeration. It got huge acclaim, but also stirred up plenty of controversy. Musically, it was diverse. Critics praised the lyrical depth, the production quality. It seemed to connect emotionally, tell stories. Though, okay, some reviews did mention maybe some parts felt a bit repetitive or not as groundbreaking as past work. Fair enough.
Yeah, and the collaborations were interesting. The Weeknd, Lil Baby, and then Billy Idol. That was unexpected, added a different flavor. It really raises that question about how art, especially music, becomes this catalyst for huge cultural conversations and, yeah, often controversy. Because the big talk around this album, the diss tracks, aimed at other artists, reignited old feuds that drew massive attention, tons of debate online. Like one industry insider said, Drake's diss tracks are always a spectacle. He's pushing boundaries, captivating and divisive. And naturally, the memes started almost immediately. It just exploded across social media.
So, putting it all together,
Yeah.
what does this snapshot of early July 2025 tell you? This Google Trends data paints a really complex picture of America at that moment. You've got Independence Day searches showing both that national pride and the underlying political tensions. You've got the Texas flood highlighting disaster response, but also sparking climate change talk. And then the entertainment trends, Diddy, Marvel rivals, Drake, just showing how much popular culture dominates the conversation.
It really is like a digital mirror, isn't it? Yeah. Reflecting all these diverse interests and concerns. In that moment, the mirror showed a nation celebrating hard for the 4th, but also grappling with a major disaster. And completely captivated by celebrity news, new games, new music, Diddy's trial, Marvel rivals, Drake's album. They weren't just side notes, they were major parts of the national dialogue. Analyzing these trends gives us real insight into that collective psyche. What grabs America's attention? What worries it?
So here's a final thought for you to chew on.
Yeah.
As we watch these digital reflections, these trends shift and change over time, what does it really tell us about our collective priorities? And maybe more importantly, what are we potentially missing when we only focus on what's trending at the top?